Okay. Hey guys. Um, so glad to be starting this up once again. I understand that I don't have, the time to have a conversation with everybody, you know. And because of that, something like this is so beneficial because you can get a form of interaction with me just through listening to the podcast. And what I wanted to talk about today has to do with working through our personal insecurities. Right now is a perfect time to be doing that. Absolutely. Because how long are you going to spend, scrolling through your social media until you decide, I need to work on myself? I need to work on myself today. It's going to take some time. I get it. But right now is the perfect time. Usually, when it comes to having patience, right? We're willing to put up with things that um it if things were if things were better, we're willing to put up with it. But because things are the way that they are right now, we're not willing to put up with that same type of negative energy. um, and that's something that I've been noticing a lot lately for me. Choosing the type of energy to allow to affect you. There are people that I follow on social media, and I don't I don't talk to them as much because they're not a part of my life in the same way that they were while we were growing up. But that is the least amount of interaction that I can get with that person, and at least I can see if they're okay, right? I can see if maybe they're posting something that has to do with where their life is right now, and I could feel a little good about it and think that, okay, even though we're not in each other's lives right now, at least they're in a good place. But some people, I every single time they post something, I always feel like it's just negative energy, and it's just something that will influence the rest of my day. But I give them a pass because that it could be a cute girl, right? And so you think, okay, well, what they just said was very stupid. But because she's cute, if you listen to her say it, you're like, okay, you can say whatever you want to say. At this point, we're not we're not at a point where we're willing to put up with that anymore. I don't want to hear it. I'm done. The energy that I get from those types of posts, I don't want them to be something to influence me, especially now that we are working from home. So many of us are working from home. And when we're doing that, like, the time that you're not busy doing something, you're scrolling through your social media. So you're seeing that those things are influencing you so much more. And, I've taken the time to, even if we're friends, to go to their page and hit unfollow because I don't want to see it anymore. I would rather listen to things that I care about that matter to me and only go on there to receive that positive energy. Right now I've been listening to Bad Friends, I've been listening to Tiger Belly, I've been listening to Fighter and the Kids. Um, I think that's what they're called now, Fighter and the Kids, because now they have Malik and they have Chappelle, and those two are now in the place of Brian Callen. And no matter how many episodes I listen to, I always want more. And there's times when I'm listening to the same episode over and over and over again because as I'm doing the thing that I do to make money, I need something to distract me as well, to make me laugh, to give me some kind of information that is going to uplift me and that I'm going to actually enjoy taking in. That's what I like focusing my attention on. Those are the things, and I know exactly where to go. Like, luckily, we can get on to YouTube and go to our subscriptions and just check for those, because without those, you are pointlessly looking through the same stuff, and you like never get anything from it. It sucks because when we get something really good from going through social media or watching a video or listening to a podcast, we hope that that will be something that we find every single time. That's not the case. And that's something that we need to understand, that we are doing these things unconsciously because at some point they gave us something that was meaningful to us, and it created a habit of us continuing to search for this morsel of benefit. When I decided that I was going to come back and start up my podcast again, I needed to prepare myself. And one of the ways that just works so well for me is to fast. And the reason why fasting helps so much is because it gets rid of these cravings that we have, and it allows us to come back to a balanced, a stable state. And it's because I'm not just giving in to the same foods over and over and over again. What tends to happen is our gut, it will ask for more, right? Based on what we give it. And a lot of the foods that we have nowadays, they were made so that we would become addicted to them. Like, how crazy is that? That if we found this same food so many years ago, it was something that was nutritious, but now it's not. Now they're playing on these things that are ways that we're wired, and by taking that in that moment, then you want more, and you want more, and you want more, and really you don't need that much. So the fact that I am deciding for myself that I'm going to fast, and this week specifically, I fasted twice a week, 2 different days, 24 hours each day. It's tough. It's tough. But I love doing hard things, because when I do hard things, I am pushing myself, and it has a lot to do with mental toughness for me. When I do things that are hard, I get a lot out of it. Like, I'm very aware of my body and of how I react, and I see these things that I don't have to that I'm doing unconsciously, right? But by fasting, I'm realizing, oh, wait a minute, this habit that I have, that I've been constantly searching for something without thinking, is something that I can stop. I can stop, and I can fix it right now. I don't have to just give in to my cravings. And so the other day I went over to my brother's place, and I spent like 4 hours fixing my laptop. I'm so grateful for the fact that my brother gave me part of his time that day and helped me out, and it worked. Because for me, this right here is therapeutic, to be able to voice my opinion in a way that you can hear me, and really listen to the way that my voice, I give the influx in my voice, because when it comes to writing things down, you only receive part of what I'm trying to say. Unless you were to listen to me, then you can hear, oh, okay, so that's what he's meaning. That's what he refers to. And so, I spent those 4 hours there with my brother, and I was just so grateful because, you know, when we're working from home and you do your 8 hours, right? And then you come off like you don't always know how to be spending your time and what's the most productive way, and you do it day by day by day by day. It's the same thing. It's so um, unfulfilling, right? Of course, I appreciate the fact that I even have a job because that means that I'm generating income and I get to pay for my things. I still get to live my life, but at the same time, it's a very hard um, thing to go through because it messes with your emotions. Sorry about that. Okay, it messes with your emotions and it like mentally drains you, right? And that's why I kept referring to scrolling through social media and where are you putting your attention? Like, what is taking up your time? I come out of my shift and I like lay down and I start looking through the same shit every single day. You put on Netflix and you're like, for a good hour, I'm over here trying to find something to watch. Like, what a waste of time that is, and what a waste of my energy and my focus that I could be really doing something else with it. So to to stop what I'm doing, to go see my brother, to get the help that that I needed, and we were able to take care of it. To me, I'm so grateful. To me, that is so valuable. I'm not sure if you've looked into love languages, but one of my love languages is quality time. And I cherish when people take the time out of their day to save this for me, for attention, the time that you could spend with another person. That is so valuable to me. I don't even care how, if you grabbed any object, the value of that object is it could never match up to the time that you could spend with another person. And with me, that's huge. That's huge. So I appreciate it every single time. It makes me feel special, you know. And at this point in my life, I understand myself so much more, and I know what I like, and I'm grateful for those things, you know. Um, and I wrote up this whole thing to help me um, have a layout just in case. Okay. So, let me see here. So something I realized was my content, the type of content I was putting out before, um, was something that it works well if everything is going the way that it used to go. So let's use my gym as an example. So my gym is a really expensive, really well furnished facility. um, more than likely, you have enough space and enough machines to do whatever you would like to do over there. That's why I go, And before, it was open 24 hours a day. So if for any reason you went at like 2 a.m, you could go. You could go and you could do a full workout, right? Um, and nobody would say anything to you. A crazy story was, and I did this a couple different times, but I showed up at the gym this one time, right? and it was like 2 in the morning. And when you go at that time, so this is all pre-COVID, okay? When you go at that time, the door is usually locked. And so what you have to do is you have to ring a doorbell, and there's a person, whoever the person is that is still working that late is gonna come. They're gonna ring you. They're gonna sign you in, right? And then you can go work out. But this time when I came, I went to go ring the doorbell, and before I did, I noticed the door was not fully closed. So I just opened up the door, right? And I went to sign in, and I just like shined my badge. Okay, got in, and go to the locker room. I'm changing. I go upstairs. I notice that the lady who's working is she's cleaning the swimming pool area, right? She's like mopping the floors, and I think maybe she had some headphones in, but she didn't hear me come in at all, right? I did show my badge, so at least like they know that I was there, but she never knew. She never came to the front to greet me. And I did my whole workout, okay? A hard ass workout. I was fucking hard ass cardio, you know? And she never heard me. What? And then I left. And I don't think she even realized that I was there at all. So like pre-COVID, you could go at 2 in the morning and no one's gonna say shit to you. So that was the type of content I was putting out was, if everything is doing well, there are things that you can be doing that are one step ahead of everyone else. And that is what's going to get you to a much further place in your life, because you're working harder for it. You deserve it, right? That's why I would say, wake up early. Like, make sure you're waking up like 2 hours earlier than the rest of the world. Make sure you're taking cold showers, because if you take cold showers, you're going to be so wired that whatever goals you have, you're going to work so much harder for them. You're not giving your body this moment of comfort. Instead, you're putting it into a place of where it's uncomfortable and it has to work harder. But what I came to understand was, right now, with what everybody's going through, that's not the way to do it. Okay. We have to be open to change based on the situations that we find ourselves in. And I think a lot of us were running at a pace that was not maintainable. And eventually we were going to hit a wall, and we were going to need to take a break, massage our feet. It's very interesting. Your body actually carries the stress and tension that you put it through in a tightness with your muscles. And when you finally decide to stop, when I finally said, okay, fine, I will take a break, because you know me, I'm fucking crazy. Okay. I am the type of person who overdoes it a lot. That's how I function. That's normal to me. But I decided to take a break because now I was forced to. I had to. And I remember, sitting down and like massaging out my feet, and oh my gosh, they were so tight, because I had been running so frequently that I never gave my feet the chance to just relax. And as I'm doing that, the emotions that the tension in my feet had created, right? would come out. And I'd realize like, oh my gosh, I put myself through so much pain. For what? For the reason of becoming fit? For the reason of maintaining my athleticism? Really? Like, that is my justification for it? Is that even good enough? To be putting myself through this? And finally now I'm giving in. I'm allowing myself to feel what needs to be felt, what I had been putting off for so long. Right now is the perfect time, the absolute perfect time to work on the things that we've been putting off, because we have the time to do that. And because we're realizing that these little things that are like dopamine hits are just empty. They're not providing us with lasting change, difference, with relief. But if we stop doing those things just because they're habits, and if we begin to make time, take care of our demons, then those things last. Then we can take an experience that is traumatic. What we're going through is definitely traumatic, and we can make something good out of it. That's what we're absolutely needing. What I would tell people to do, and what I am going through right now, it's a crazy realization to have. Instead of I did cold showers maybe like 4 to 6 months straight. I was definitely going crazy, and people could not even understand, like, how do you keep going? How the hell do you keep going? But it's because I had these habits. I put these things together that made me a high performer. But what I found was having a warm shower, letting that water just run down your face after so long of cold showers was the nicest thing that I could have had. It was like the best part of my day. Like, I needed it, but I don't think I ever appreciated it like that until I took it away from myself. And then I finally gave in and gave it back, and it makes me understand the pain that people are going through, because that may be the only moment when a person gets peace and quiet, where they're dealing with so many people complaining and yelling and constantly asking them for things, and it becomes overwhelming, right? But then the moment when they're alone in the shower and they let the water just run down, their face, then a lot of it can stop for just a moment, and they can just appreciate the sound of water. Interesting, right? I don't know if you've ever listened to lo-fi with rain in the background. It's nice. Listening to something like that makes me want to just become a writer and just sit there and just write books. Like, it sounds really good. It's similar to when you were growing up and you found music to study with, and you're just like, oh, this is really good. Like, this is putting me in a state of mind that I'm taking in so much good information, and I'm confident about getting to class next time and also like writing a paper or, taking a test. And if you don't feel like you ever got to that point, then then I'm sorry, the education system is shit. Okay. I only enjoyed and appreciated going to school when I went to the University of Utah, and I finally studied, and I was like, you know what, I should have done this years ago. Why didn't I do this years ago? And why didn't I take in all the information that they were giving us? Because I just honestly, I would just do the bare minimum to pass. And school was a place for me to socialize, to grow, to experience. And it wasn't a place for me to receive an education. Like, what? Ugh, like, why? What a waste. But at the same time, I appreciate the experience, and I appreciate being able to attend the University of Utah, and then as well um, receive even the little education that I received while I was there. Okay, let's see here. All right, all right. So last weekend I was in Arizona. I I needed some alone time for myself. I needed to get away from all this the mess that we put up with, all the time. And we function in a way to make it seem like it's okay and that like it's normal, but everyone is on edge right now. Okay, everyone is going through something tough right now. That's the hard thing, because before I I make these simulations of hard things, and I can work through them and improve and grow. But now that everybody else is going through something tough, it's so much harder to be motivated, because that motivation is just not there the same way. It's just not. It's it's like people are just saying these things like they're good things, right? But even when some people push themselves hard, they don't succeed, and they sometimes stumble, they sometimes fall, and it's just not it's not what it used to be. That's okay. That's okay. But now what we're needing to do is we're needing to find really what makes us happy, what is going to be enough, to take care of us, to be able to get through this better. And so what I needed to do was I needed to go away for a weekend and just spend time alone with myself, with my own thoughts. And my favorite part, real quick, let me just give a big shout out and a thanks to Marshall Zinn for putting together the Arizona Strength Games, and for the hospitality of hosting that event, and uh, letting me come through and push myself, and all the positive energy that was there. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing that. A lot of events have been canceling, and it's tough, when you are looking forward to something and then it doesn't follow through. It's like, why? If you don't have something to look forward to, it it becomes very hard to do what you're doing all the time, like to work hard, to put up with all this shit, right? Because if you have something to look forward to, you say, oh, I can put up with it another day. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine as long as we can still get to that point. Then it's worth it, right? So I'm in Arizona. I'm alone, and my favorite part of it was at the end. When I finished competing, my body's just dead, worn out. I go back to the Airbnb that I was at, and I'm just laying there, and um, being with my own energy. is really nice because I understand the things that I have worked through to feel comfortable if I'm alone. That's so nice because when I'm with other people, I have this um, sensitivity to their energy, and I know when somebody hasn't taken care of something that they really should have worked on. And they bring that energy here and they fucking unload that on us. And yes, I'm the type of person who actually I want to hear it. Okay. I do want to know exactly like what you're going through because I do care. And I don't want no small talk. I don't want no half-ass fucking conversation. No, I want to know like what's going on. To me, that is so much more meaningful to have that kind of conversation with you than to hear something that just doesn't matter. That just like um, moves the conversation elsewhere just so that we're not having a deep conversation. No, I like that fucking deep conversation. Okay. Um, but sometimes it does get overwhelming. And I am that constant safe space for a lot of people. And, being in Arizona on my own, I didn't have to deal with that because my energy is good energy. And I know that because I can fill a room. I understand that if I'm somewhere, I can really create a safe space where if you can look at me and you can know that this space is safe, then it's a relief to be there. It's not something where you feel like the energy is um so intimidating, right? I went to a cabin with a group of people, great people. I appreciate the fact that they have included me. And when I was at that cabin, they had brought a dog, and this dog had a muzzle on it, right? And man, it was an aggressive dog. Like it would just like hit its nose on everyone, and just like, of course, it had a muzzle because he would bite, right? And what we found out was like that dog had an experience with a male, right? A person, a guy, um, that was not a good experience, a very violent moment. And because of that, the dog had its insecurities, um, constantly needing attention, but at the same time, not liking men because of the energy that they have, right? And this is a dog. Okay, so the dog is just taking in the energy that it's it's um it's around. It's not like the dog is sexist or anything like that. No, the dog just knows that when it's around males, they have a different type of energy. But when the dog was around me, it actually wasn't like that at all because I don't put off an energy that is like intimidating and like so combative and fighting. And that was nice. I was like, wow, this dog understands me. Like, as much as this dog is also a headache to take around, it just needs to know how that we love it, that we're not just gonna throw it away, right? But that if it needs a little more attention, I can give it a little more attention. I definitely did not put up with its shit. I didn't let it just like fucking do whatever it wanted to. I didn't let it just like bite and gnaw at me. But it understood me. And I was like, oh wow, maybe this has to do, and the owner of it as well. It's like maybe this has to do with the type of energy that you carry that is more feminine. It's not so masculine, and that's okay. You know, I I used to be insecure about the energy that I put off because I thought like, oh, I have to fit this model, right? And I'm a guy, right? So I have to be masculine. But that's not the case. I can still be strong and um I can still make an impact, but I can still have feminine energy. Energy that is more open to conversation, that is more understanding, that is not so combative, um, and welcomes welcomes feelings. You know, something I wanted to share with you is how I work through my insecurities, because I can have a conversation with somebody and tell them um, that it's important to work on your demons. Like we should always make the time to work on our demons, right? But what does that mean? Let me tell you what it means to me and how I do it, because it can be a way to help you as well. So I get it. I put off things. A lot of people put off things. When we don't want to deal with an internal problem at that time, we tend to just say, "Oh, we'll take care of it later," okay? And we will justify it by saying something like, "If I focus my energy on somebody else, then I won't have to ever worry about taking care of myself, right? Because if I'm taking care of others, then others will take care of me, you know?" But no, no, stop doing that. Okay? Stop doing that. Eventually, you have to make the time for yourself. The same time and effort that you put into other people, that you use as a justification for not working on yourself, is the type of effort and energy and time that is needed to work through our own issues and our own demons. So this is what I do. So I put my phone to the side. Done. Okay. Not gonna look through this social media that's empty waste of my fucking time. Put that shit to the side. Okay. I make the time, and then I use meditation. Meditation is a great way. It's a great tool to have if you can do it and if you can understand it. And you won't ever know how to do it if you never try it, right? But then if you do understand how to use it, then it can be so valuable to you. So I sit down, prepare to meditate, close my eyes. There's a big difference that you get when you close your eyes, because you're eliminating a sense that is taking in stimulation. And if you can eliminate the sense of sight, it actually allows you to go inside and really work on these visual things that you also experience, but you do not focus on those things when your eyes are open. How interesting is that? We have visions, but they're not the same as sight. So a lot of people over prioritize what we can see, what is tangible, right? Over what is internal and can be visual too. So what I'm referring to is it's similar to like a daydream. It's similar to when you actually sleep and you have a dream. And it's similar to if you had a guide, like guided meditation, or if you went to therapy, they could also do this with you. And as you speak and as you verbalize, then you're actually creating an experience. Even though you're not physically there, you can still see this, but it's not like your eyes. It's more of an internal vision that you're having. And so from here, meditating, closing my eyes, and I like to verbalize um, the things that are going on within my mind, because if I can verbalize them, I can listen to like what is bugging me, like what's the problem. I want to share with you guys one of the things that I worked through the other day, just so that you can hear what it's like, and you can hear that this is real, and it can be a bit uncomfortable. Okay, but it's so good because what this allows you to do is you verbalize it. Okay, you envision it, you can feel the feelings that you've been putting off, and then you can let it go, but really let it go, not in a way of, if you have an insecurity or a problem, to just let it go, but to go through a process in which you're doing it in a healthy way, which allows you to then use this as a uh, tool, a positive experience that comes from something that's hard, hard to face, a hard insecurity. Okay. Okay. So let's begin. Okay. So an insecurity that I was going through, um, it had to do with who I invited over to the house. So I live with roommates, right? And that's a lot of different personalities to work with and to have a good relationship with. Um, and it's what bothered me was the fact that, like, I need like, see how hard this is, but it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out, right? So I needed to um, respect the the opinions of others, because they didn't like to have a certain person over for whatever reason. Okay. Um, and I made the mistake of bringing that person over. Um, and I had to face the fact that I caused contention between the people that I care about, right? Um, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that big of a deal. Okay. Um, so that's one part of that insecurity. But the next part is even tougher for me. So this is the next part. The fact that they get to invite whoever the fuck they want to invite, and they never ask me. I'm never included as, hey Kev, um, do you care if this person's up? Do you care if we invite these people over? Can you just ask me? Like, what the hell, I don't see why I'm not good enough to ask. Like, I'm like, my opinion doesn't matter, right? But there's a reason why they don't ask me, and I'll tell you why. Because I have never shown to say no to anybody. And because they know that, then they make these decisions without me, because they already know my answer. Of course, I'm not gonna be um, negative and rude about it, and I'm not gonna come over here and I'm not gonna say like, oh no, they can't come. No, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, they can come. I appreciate the fact that you asked me, right? But but the real problem out of all this is my insecurity is just, I just want to be included. That's all it is, actually. It's not whether I like them, whether I don't like them. It's not whether I'm going to say yes, whether I'm going to say no. I just want to be included because I don't feel included, and that hurts, you know? And it's hard to bring that up because I don't even I don't even know how to fix the problem. But I can let it go. Um if they want to invite people and not ask me, it's okay. It's okay. If I need to have a conversation with them, then we can get to that point, okay? But this does not have to be something that eats away at me. I'm not going to let that happen. And that is why this is so beneficial. Because taking the time to stop what I'm doing, put away my phone, meditate, close my eyes, verbalize what I need to say, I need to hear, and then letting myself feel what needs to be felt. Doing that heals me, okay? It makes it so I don't have to carry something negative with me everywhere I go. But it lets me have energy that I'm confident about. And wherever we go, you know that I can create something positive and I can create a safe space. And I'm not carrying around these things like demons that would eat away at me. Just because you go through depression, anxiety, or because you are going through an emotional condition now because of the trauma that we're going through now. Just because you have that does not mean you're a lost cause. I want you to know that. Your opinion matters. Okay, your feelings, they are valid. Just like that dog, because it went through the hard trauma that it went through, doesn't mean that I was gonna just throw it away. But it needed to be loved in a different way. It needed to be accepted. It needed to feel safe. We all need that. No matter how much we're going to go through right now or we're going to continue to go through, we all need to know that. Okay? Thanks for listening, guys.